This is Q.I.Q, the question in question. Brought to you by TherapyBites Art Lab. Here to take a bite out of modern-day pseudo-psychological psycho-malarkey. Now entering the Art Lab studio, today's T-Ballers, a collection of fellow strugglers, confronting personal challenges, navigating precarious relationships, and tackling trauma. Humans like each of us, juggling difficult human emotions, each here with unique life experiences, lived stories, and questions we'll bite into that just might help you too. And now, entering the Art Lab studio for the 9,880th time is the host of Therapy Bites Q.i.Q, Doc Heath.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of Q.I.Q. And yes, that intro, our little Art Lab studio, it's really packed with equipment, which is why I do it right here in my actual office because, well, we actually cleaned it up and put the equipment up the other day because, gosh, we need a place to sit, and we're getting really good at taking it down and putting it back up so that we can actually use the Art Lab to see our clients in it. We're not filming and making it into a jungle. How's everybody doing in the heat? It's been really toasty out there. Our air conditioning was out for about a week. And what am I grateful for today, boys and girls? I'm grateful for air conditioning. And I know you guys are too. Well, let's go to the board. You guys know how the game is played. Thank you guys that are going to be watching us in the replay. But we have about 6 categories there. Couch Crumbs Quotes, Couch Crumbs Questions, Creature Feature, Social Media Smackdown. We take on some social media nonsense. Fresh from the Therapy Couch, we try to put some shoe leather on psychological concepts. Couch Crumbs, that's our newsletter. That's coming out this Friday, and coming up, we'll let you know how to get on the mailing list. It's absolutely free. Neuro, which is also Psych Secrets. And we'll go to the board, and our first item here is from the category of Couch Crumbs Quotes, Couch Crumbs Questions. And I will put this up on the board like you guys like for me to do. Some people say that I read it so fast, and yeah, maybe I need to slow down. But I'll put it up here in the chat so that you can see what it is, and I'll pull it up on the board. And as you can see, it's for 400 Psy coins. What can you do with those? You can spend those at the company store. And the item here says, 2 famous philosophers who said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." And I want to tell you, that really has gotten me personally through some really difficult situations, that if you know why you exist, and I hope you understand that's to make a purpose, that's to make an impact, that's to reach out and maybe help somebody, and that's even if you're struggling yourself. One of the best things you can do to help your own struggle is to lift someone else up. But who are those folks? Who are those 2 philosophers? And phrased it in the form of a question, of course. And we're almost out of time, but the question is, who is Friedrich Nietzsche, or Nietzsche, as some people pronounce his name? A bit of a recluse, very nice guy. Historically, it's reported he's a very nice guy. And also, who's the second one? One of my favorite philosophers, but also mental health people, Viktor Frankl. And they both really built their life on that. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. Let's go back to the board. And this item is going to come from, for 200 Psy coins, Creature Feature. I'll put that up on the board. And we'll do a little short break, as we always do, and we will come back and see if somebody has come up with the proper response in the form of a question.
You are a fellow human struggling with difficult emotions, a fracturing relationship, parenting problem, mental health difficulty, have a psychotherapy from hell story to tell, or a challenging life experience question, and would like to share your story by stepping up to bat as a T-baller. Either register by texting Q.i.Q to 1-870-686-4196 and join our Therapy Bites community, or send a postcard with your name, address, phone number, email address, and age to the address on the screen. Therapy Bites, Q.i.Q, P.O. Box 1391, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72403, 1391.
Yeah, and we really do check that post office box. Yeah, send us a postcard. Let us know about you. You can request to join the newsletter. Put your email address on that. If you call that number, 1-870-686-4196, you can go ahead and put your email address on that too. But let's put the answer up on the board for 200 Psycoins. This is a cognitive distortion where individuals attribute external events to themselves without solid evidence or thinking about their own thinking. What is thinking about your own thinking? Thinking about your own thinking is called meta, M-E-T-A, metacognition. Gosh, didn't a social media platform just rename itself Meta? And people think of themselves as if they are the cause of the event, or by default, it's always their fault. And what's that called? That's called what's the question? Personalization. What is personalization? Now, I'm a big believer in taking blame where it is my fault, my bad, my mistake. I think that's a courteous thing to do. But we also call that a discussed gray herring. In logic, you would call it a distraction from the argument a red herring. We call it a gray herring because, cell bodies in the brain are gray. And it's your brain being distracted by what's really going on. If you're one of those people that you just blame yourself for everything, well, my hat's off to you for the proactivity of taking personal responsibility, but it may not be always you that's at fault. So a little tip from Doc Heath here: stop beating up on yourself, okay? Be kind to others, but also be kind to yourself. Let's go back to the board for the next item. It is coming from, guess what? Oh yes, it is one of my favorite categories, social media smackdown. And boy, do we have some Psycoins for you guys. 800 of them actually. And I'll put this up on the board, actually in the chat. And when I come back, I'll move it to the board, and we'll be back right after this.
If you plan on being in the local area of your podcast player app and would like complimentary tickets to the Therapy Bites Q.i.Q Art Lab studio audience, please search Therapy Bites on your device and just smash that subscribe button. Your complimentary ticket grants you access to alerts so you'll never miss a show.
I have my mute button on. Isn't that cool? You guys can subscribe to the channel or follow us on Twitter. And gosh, I hope my mute button's not been off the whole time. I really need a big flashing light right here. Maybe there's a way that I can engineer that up. A big flashing light that says, hey Doc, your mute button is on. And normally I've got somebody helping me out. William, where are you, William? You're usually here keeping me on track, buddy. But let's pull this up on the board here for 800 Psycoins. This is a myth promoted by one of the, I call them snake oil sites out there on social media, that teach that there's some feeling that indicates a person's value, or absence of that feeling means that the person lacks value. And I think the post actually said, if you feel like you're worthless, and our timer's up, so I'll say, what is self-worth? The question is, what is self-worth? Self-worth is not a feeling, and people that run mental health sites should get that straight. That's a huge mistake, promoting that disinformation that there's some emotion that lets you know your value. There is no feeling that is data of your worth. You were worth all that you will ever be worth from the very first second of your existence. And you will never be worth any less. Now, you'll never be worth any more, but you'll never be worth any less. We see so many folks that in this day and age, because of comparisons, social media, they compare themselves to other people. And again, give yourself a break. Say nice things to yourself. Let's go back to the board and pick up the next item. And it is going to come from fresh from the therapy couch. And I will pop this up on the board and see what we can come up with as far as a response. And the timer is running. And isn't that cool? That gives us just a little bit of time to talk about it, because this is a very important thing, especially if you're on social media a lot. For 600 Psycoins, the 4-word magical superpowered formula for squashing petty, baseless criticism. It is that there are a lot of petty criticism out there. I'm on social media and I get it all the time. Somebody I won't get into that, but I get criticized for things that even surprise me. And my response often is, gosh, if you knew me better, you'd come up with better criticism, because it's mostly just useless and baseless, and I pay no mind to that. But in the Art Lab, we have a way that we recommend that you T-ballers, that stands for TherapyBites Art Labbers, for you T-ballers to deal with that. And it is called What is Air Set into Motion? Air Set into Motion. ASIM. And that's what criticism is. All criticism ever is air set into motion. Now, how can that be harmful to you? And take back your power and choose to not believe that somebody else's air set into motion can do anything to you, or that you even need to answer back to criticism. Think of it this way. If you're walking by your neighbor's yard and the dog in their fence line barks at you, do you stop and take time to bark back at a barking dog? Well, of course not. And you don't have to bark back at the criticizers either. Let's go back to the board, and this item is going to come from Psych Secrets. It is our last category. Whoops, I'm trying to pick it up for you guys here. I have to copy paste into the chat. Be patient with me here. And we will take a short break while you let your noodle canoodle on it, and we'll be back right after this.
Premier accommodations for our T-Ball contributors, provided electronically by the luxurious Art Lab Studio, overlooking the steaming cesspool of pseudo-psychological social media psychomalarkey, and located in cyberspace on your favorite podcast hosting platform, where we invite you to the most psychomalogically thrilling podcast in town, while you feast on our award-winning psychologically nutritious buffet of TherapyBites cuisine, conscientiously cooked up by your hard-working T-Ball team chefs.
And yeah, we will be having a new podcast episode about your relationship with yourself, dealing with your thoughts and emotions, and that is dropping tomorrow morning. Just go to wherever you consume podcasts and look up Therapy Bites, and hit that, smash that, tap that subscribe button. But let's go to our item here for 400 Psycoins. And that is the T-ball triple of the day. So it is actually 1,200 Psycoins. And yeah, you got to be on the live show to win. I had a question the other day. Can I win in the replay? We don't have that right now. So, set the alert to get the alert from YouTube, and you'll know when we're on the air, which is every Tuesday and Thursday. And then you can win some stuff like a T-shirt. Not this one. This one says think, and that's what we're here to do, is to help you guys think. We're here to make you think. And no, we're not here to make you think. You don't have to think if you don't want to. Thinking is your right. If you don't want to do it, that's up to you. But let me pull this up on the board here one more time, and I'll read it to you and stop jabbering. This is the term for interconnected brain regions that are active during mind-wandering and self-referential thought. What a fancy word. Thoughts about yourself and thoughts about your own thoughts. Self-referential thought. And this provides a neuroscientific basis for understanding daydreaming. It's what happens when we daydream, planning for the future, goal setting, task management, task segmentation. And what is that called? Well, you should know because you're in it most of the time. And it is important, it is essential, but mindfulness is a different network, and the brain needs to know. It's good to train your brain to switch back and forth between those two. And I'll just put this up on the board so you guys can actually read it, and you don't have to dig through my thick Southern accent. People are always asking me where I'm from. Well, certainly not New York. I would talk differently. I don't think people in New York talk this way. What is the default mode network? What is the default mode network? Hey, thank you guys for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the show. Share it out to some people that could use some good, fun, psychologically nutritious information every Tuesday, every Thursday, 7 o'clock. And thank you for being here. We'll catch you next time.
Next time on Therapy Bites Art Lab Q.i.Q, Doc Keith and T-Ball Collars face off against steaming piles of pseudo-psychological psychomalarkey directly from your favorite social media platforms, or perhaps from the psychotherapy couch of a pill-pushing, emotion-demonizing, bobble-headed, woo-woo clinician who fed their kooky Kool-Aid to you. This is Art Potto speaking. Therapy Bites Q.i.Q is a Dr. I'm a Freudnot production. Distributed by the Therapy Bites Art Lab Podcast.